Hello, everyone. This is another episode of I Said What I Said. I'm your host, Ray,
And I'm Ashley.
I'm Shay Books.
and we are ready to discuss books that we reviewed, that we read, and want to review in 2024. So, with that being said, I'm going to start off with Shay Books and let her go, and then Miss 502 will go, and then I will go.
So you want my whole top four, or you just want one?
I want to be fine, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So in no particular order, Church Girl by Naomi Simone, which came out in November, I believe it was. I believe it was November. Is a single dad romance about a runaway bride. Um, Stemming from the title Church Girl, yes, her father, she's a preacher's kid. Her father was a preacher, and it was a arranged marriage, but she just did not want to get married, so she ran away and ended up with my favorite, a bad boy whose name happened to be Vaughn. Very good book, very good book. 5 stars.
Miss 502.
My top four is a combination of books. So I like All In by Mark Patterson, which is more of a Christian growth book, if you will, and really kind of hones in on you being able to, ensure that in your daily walk that you're literally all in, right? All in with God and His direction for your life. Um, and again, this is in no particular order. I also did Taming the Tongue. That's by Deborah Smith Pegas. And that's just a good book to, if you quick on the tongue, quick on the draw when people saying stuff to you, that is a good book. But not, even if you're not that person necessarily, right? Just thinking about your responses before, giving a response or what your response should be. And that's another good Christian growth book. And then on to something a little more, action packed. I actually read a book or listened to a book, Killing Floor by Lee Child, which is based on the TV show. Well, the books came out first, but the TV show is based on the books by Lee Child with Reacher, the character Reacher. And I like a kind of an action packed book, stuff that things are going on. You got to figure out the pieces in the puzzle. So that was a good book for me in 2024. And then I really enjoyed An Ounce of Decorum by Ashley Nicole. I thought that was a really good kind of romance type book. So that would be my top four for 2024. Right?
So I'm gonna start out with I had to get a little bit of a disclaimer. My
Okay. Okay.
books are all by top authors in my opinion, right? So a lot of times I may have gave these books fours, but the author always delivers for me. So I may not have given them a five, but it was at least a four the author that based off the author. So the first book I'm gonna go over is the Michael Lister. In Michael Lister's, he's his books is very they're murder mystery books, and he is a priest that is an alcoholic, right? Or a preacher that is an alcoholic, and he's like a dog with a bone. He just won't let go of stuff. So it's very interesting. And the book that stood out to me in 2024 was Beneath a Blood Red Sky, right? And in this book, they were teenagers. And the teenagers went to a party, and this setting is in a little bit of Shavana's neck of the woods, Florida, close to Panama. Um, but more in the country, more in the glades, if you will. There's swamps and stuff like that. So each one of his books is more set in the swamp area of Florida, but not that far from Panama City, right? Um, and in this particular one of the teenagers dies, and nobody wants to admit to who killed her, right? And she was with a boyfriend, and she was with a friend, and another boy, and everybody was like, "It wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me." And come to find out, it wasn't none of the teenagers that she was with. It was. Do I need to tell y'all who it was? No, I won't tell you who it was. But it was a really good book, and it goes down through there. Now, some people might think he's dry, but you really got to get into it. I think he has a very good writing style, the Michael Lister, and I absolutely love this particular character, John Jordan. So that was my first book, and again, this is not in any particular order. Siobhan, do you want to go over your second book, or do you want me to go?
It don't matter. You can go ahead and do all yours, and then I'll finish up mine.
Okay.
Because I showed it all. I showed it all for a vibe. I went with it.
Oh, Ashley was excited about her too.
I was
2000.
like, hey, my 4 books was pretty good.
So tell me, what was the title of yours again, Ray? Because I think I read that one. I know I read two of the ones Ashley did.
Beneath a red blood. Wait a minute. Beneath a blood red sky.
Beneath a blood red sky.
It don't ring a bell, but the storyline rang a bell. Did the girl get killed at the beach?
It wasn't necessarily a beach, but yeah.
It sounds like you read it, Siobhan.
Look, and it was a bunch of friends. Was it
She
like
fell out the well.
Oh no, well, I might read that. It sounds very familiar, but the title don't sound familiar.
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know. Could be.
But
Maybe you read it in 2023. So another book of mine, again, this goes back to uh all of my books are based off of authors that I read regularly, right? Um, Danielle Allen. And I'm kind of upset with her about this book, and I think I gave it a 4, but not because the 4 didn't come because I'm upset with her. I'm upset with her because the book 2 hasn't came out yet, and it's very disturbing to me. It's called the book that I like was Curvy Girl Summer, and it is based off of a girl who's obviously curvy, and the series book 2 let me see what the name of the actual series is.
it's a Curvy Girl series, and that one came out this year, and the other one comes out next year. Well, this
Right.
2025.
I don't do good with waiting. I'd rather all of them be released. But anyways, that's just me. Anyways, because I don't have no type of patience. But Curvy Girl Summer was great. And the reason why I say I don't even really know why I gave it 4, but it was great. Um, and the reason why I say that is because her character and the main female character and the main male character, they liked each other from the beginning, in my opinion, right? And you don't think so?
No, I haven't read it yet, and it's on my TBR. So please don't no spoilers.
Okay. So the build up, ooh, this is gonna be hard. The build up to their relationship was great. Their dialogue was great. Like it was a really good book, right? Uh wasn't too much sex, so you don't have to worry about that. But it was good. I'm just gonna stop there because it's on your to be read list, and Ashley might read it as well. So I'm just gonna go with it, right? Uh, Again, going with the next person is Naomi Bryan. I don't know if you ever read any of her books, but I've always read her books and always loved her books. She does have a alternate writing person. I think it's Misha Meek. I didn't read none of those, but I did read the Albie Bryants. Um, she has a series called The Crest Brothers. And out of those Crest Brothers, I loved The Rebel Air. So the reason why I love that, we go back to another podcast. I like Bad Boys, right? And he just did not want to do right, right? The first book, the 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 first book, the one that wanted to do right, they all are brothers. They're all chefs, and in their own right, they all have different things that they're better at. TV shows, this, that, and the other. But the first book, he fell in love with. Have you read this one? Is this on your TBR?
No. It
Okay.
might be a job. I have read it. No.
Okay. So he fell in love with, somebody that he wasn't expect that you wouldn't expect that he would fall in love with. But in the Rebel era, he was again the bad boy, and he wanted to keep his relationship under the wraps. And no, I think he wanted to come out in it because he didn't care what his family said. He didn't care what his family thought. He just didn't care. He just knew he wanted this woman and he was fine with her. So in this particular book or series, and I love the whole series, I think I gave each book 4 to 5 stars. So if you have a chance to check out the Crest Brothers, I think you should.
Yeah, I am actually reading book One Night with Cinderella.
So, but I think the Rebel Air was one of my favorites out of the book. I think it's book 5. I think it's 5 books, and I think Rebel Air was one of my favorites. And again, the next person is Elle Thorpe. Now, here's the deal with Elle Thorpe. I read just about all her little series. She is a Caucasian writer, and I got 2 Caucasian writers on my list and 2 African American writers on my list. She is very erotic. So if that's not something that you're into, you might want to just steer away because it is very, very erotic, right? And very detailed. Um, this particular series I have been waiting on, and Shavana and Ashley could probably tell you, I've been waiting on it and waiting on it. I had to wait on it and wait on it. I think it came out in June or September or one of those books that I gotta go back to see when I finished it. It came out on the 15th. I said, I can't wait to the 15th. I can't wait to the 15th. The 15th came, and then the 16th, and then the 17th, and then something said, I think it was Shavana that said, yeah, I got a book that's getting ready to come out or something like that. I said, oh, shoot. I've been waiting on this book for so long. And here it is, September 20th. I'm just saying a month. And I wasn't, I built it up to myself, but it did not disappoint. And then this book is called Torn in Two. And the last book was very, again, detailed, but ultimately the girl was married off to the cult leader, and she was basically, how cult leaders are, they marry the youngest thing or the prettiest thing, and she already had a child outside the cult, and she decided to come back, and because of punishment, her father married her off to the cult leader. The cult leader loved her, looked like act like he loved her and everything, but long and short, she was married off to him, and she could not produce an heir for him. He married 4 or 5 women, and he had kids with all of them. It wasn't him; it was definitely her. So she it wasn't until her daughter, because he was very mean, his cult leader. Her daughter, he took her original child and gave her to somebody else. And she was like 5. It wasn't until she found out that they were going to sell the daughter off to another man at 5 years old that she woke up and said, "No, I'm leaving this cult." So they snuck out, and that was the premise behind it. They snuck out and went on this road trip, and somebody got murdered, and all of this. And it's a 3-book series, right? So this is the last book of the 3-book series. So, and the Torn in Two wraps everything up. So when I say that it's a 3-book series, it's a 3-book series. Like the way L. Thorpe writes, it's very unique, right? So this was the last book, and it wrapped everything up with a neat little bow. But I recommend reading the whole series. You have to read the whole series to get to know all of the characters and everything. But the last book of the 3-book series was Torn in Two. So those are my top 4 book slash author reviews for 2024. And that's why I said it's kind of hard to pinpoint them, because all of them are part of a series that I'm used to reading behind authors, right? So that's just my opinion. Shape.
Okay, so as I said, my first one of my top 4 was Church Girl by Naomi Simone, which is a single dad romance with a runaway bride. So my second book is called Just Right by Sean. This is a book that I wouldn't have probably picked for myself to read. I am a person that do not read synopsis, so your cover has to catch me. If your cover don't catch me, then I probably won't read your book unless somebody recommend. Which this had a pretty good cover. But this book was recommended to me by a person that don't even read. She just saw it on TikTok and sent it to me from one of my friends. When I tell you I read that book in 24 hours, it was so good. And it was a book that I wouldn't, no, I'm not gonna say I would normally read. I probably never even came across them. It was actually a poly romance book. So it kind of struck me, but it was such a good love story, even though it was a poly story. And it was I know we've seen the one man with multiple women, and then recently a show came out with a woman with multiple men. And this one was a small town with a woman with multiple men. And there is a book too that just came out, so I will be reading that in 2025. So my next book is Lilith by Alexandria House. This is a 3-book series, and this was the first book in the series. I was in an actual reading slump, and I knew this book had came out because I had shared it for her. But then I saw it on Amazon on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, oh, Alexandria House usually writes pretty good books, and I probably can get it. Can get them to them. This was her first go at a suspense, and it was good to me. I read it within 6 hours. The whole book.
You was going for it, wasn't you? You was going for it.
I went for it. And it was a little toxic. It was a little toxic.
Mm.
Ray was very toxic. And as we were speaking like on our last podcast that we did, I like the bad boys. And Ray is definitely a bad boy. Because I don't want to give it away. Ray might read it. I don't know. Ashley might read it. I don't know. I don't want
It
to give.
depends. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to
Well,
give.
you said suspense. I like
Yeah,
suspense, so I
it's
don't know.
suspense. It's killing in it. It's because it's and that was another thing that I liked
Then
about it.
it's action packed, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
You're
it's
saying it's
action-packed.
action packed.
And I usually figure
Is there
stuff
some twists
out.
and turns in there? Like is it twists and
Yeah,
turns?
it's a
Uh,
lot of twists and turns. So I should have read the synopsis. Yeah, like I said before, I don't read synopsis. but I don't want to give away nothing either. So I'm gonna just move on.
I read little.
Oh, okay.
I gave it a
So
4.
do you agree that Ray is a little toxic?
You put me on the spot. I shouldn't have said it.
Okay, well, we'll move on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, just an FYI,
Everybody
right,
gave it a 5. Let me
book
read
two,
about
book
it.
2 is out. Memphis, which is so book 2 is out. It just dropped week before last, I believe. It dropped sometime in December. So I will be getting that because I want to read, the rest of that. So my 4th book was Love on the Rebound by Aries Sky, and that is also part of a series. It's about 3, and I think just like the one that we did on our last podcast with CCJ, this one is about 3 sisters, but book 2 is about one of the sisters. The first book in the series was Love on the Ninth Floor. Did you read that one, Ray?
I did.
Okay. So yeah, so Love on the Rebound was about the second sister. And this one I really it was very relatable because she was a big girl. And I like when they write about the big girls. I believe Lilith was a big girl too.
She was.
Oh yeah. So yeah, those were my top 4 of 2024. And all of those books I read within less than 24 hours. And that's why they were picked for my top books. And I gave every last one of them a 5. I really enjoyed Church Girl Naomi Simone. That was just, I really enjoyed that one. I just love Bond. I think I love all the men in all these books, even Ray with his little toxic self. And I don't know how I feel about that because he made her love him. And so, yeah. But yeah. So that's my spin on those.
Well, that's awesome, you all. I think that reading is fundamental, as they used to say. So I think that it gives us all an aspect that we because like I said, Ashley came up with at least two Christian fictions or Christian books, and I I tend to go to the erotica, but I like murder mysteries too.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had 2 Christian books, on a suspense book, and then I guess it was like a romance, more or less
Yeah.
romance.
And I
And
also
it,
read All In this year, the one that Ashley, I have Taming the Tongue, but I haven't read that one.
Yeah. So I kind of in my reading selection, I kind of mix it up a little bit, But I would say, okay, so this is the question. So what was the number of books that for the challenge that you did in 2024, and then what have you set as your goal for 2025?
Are you
Either
asking?
one of y'all.
Oh. So for 2024, my challenge was to read 150, and I read 153. I have set my challenge for 170, I believe, for 2025.
Okay. That's awesome.
so my challenge for 2024 was 150 as well. I set my 25 challenge for 125. And the reason why is because I ran into a slump toward the end of the year, and I can't say that I'm out of that slump. Um as of 2025, and I said, well, let me be more a little realistic. If I make it to 100 and I still got a ways to go, I might push it up because I can edit it, push it up to 160 or something like that. But as of right now, I'm gonna go with 125.
Awesome. So for me, 2024, all you listeners, I am not on the level of Ray or Shay Books when it comes to reading. However, I do listen to books, and 2024 was 24 books, and 2025 is going to be 25 books. And for me, that's astonishing. I think I started off and wanted to do like 5 books, and that was about the extent. I just enjoy other activities. I enjoy TV probably way more than I enjoy reading, right? But I have done better over the years. And so 25 for 2025. That's the goal. If I exceed that, and just a disclaimer, right? I do not read into December. So I generally try to finish my books, read my challenge in 11 months as opposed to 12. But that's just because I feel like December should be just my month. But nonetheless, 25 books for me. But I do enjoy doing the reading challenge, and it is an opportunity to push myself in other ways, right? Just to develop and, to do other activities such as reading, right? Because it enhances your learning. And it also can be a stress reliever, I think, too, right? Along the way, to just sit and listen to something else. So that's it. What questions y'all got? Y'all got some more that we can talk about through these books that we done read?
So you said it could be a stress reliever. And I think I can say this for me and Ray. It can also be stressful because we want to meet our goals. We want to meet our goals. Even though even though I said 170, well, the question on the challenge says, how many books would you like to read? I would
Oh, is that
love
what
to
it says?
read.
I don't even know what it says.
Yeah, it says, how many would you like to read? Not how many am I going to actually read? So that's why I put.
What? That changes the game.
Right. That's why I kind of put 170. I would love to read 200 or 300, but like you said, reality, real. Let's be real. It can be done, but as like Ashley, I like to watch TV sometimes too.
I
And
do.
sometimes I don't feel like reading.
Yeah, I
I
just
don't read a
rather do
whole lot.
that. Like,
Yeah.
I just rather do that. But
Ashley doesn't read in December. Sometimes I don't. Most of the time, I don't read a whole lot in January. Most of the time because it's like allergies hit in my eyes, or it's always something else. And most of the time, I don't read a lot of books in January. But so far in January, I've read 4 books, so I'm on a good.
you off to a great start.
Start.
It ain't my testimony. So first of all, the fact that you said what you would like to read changes the game. I refuse to let it be stressful, but I will commend y'all because y'all push me and be like, you can do it. And I'm just like, I'm over it. So I get to a place where I'm over it because the challenge ain't that deep to me. But because of y'all do push and say, okay. And then they start giving me a whole list of books that I can read, right? Or listen to in a period of time. And it's helpful, right? To have a crew of people who can kind of push you in that way. So yeah, and like I said, as you can tell, we all listen to a variety of different books for different reasons, and just depends on what you feel at the time. But yeah, I did read another book. I did actually read a book on reparations, and with a Christian spin to it, and that was an interesting book for the year. I don't know that I necessarily put that at the top. I didn't put that in my top 4, but it was I guess it's a way to look at it from a different lens. And I know you hear a lot about different things about reparations, but it was a book to listen to it from a different lens or different take on reparations and what that looks like. So that would be probably the most interesting book, I guess, and kind of different, I guess, from what everything else I've read for the year 2024. So we'll see what 20.
I won't be pushing y'all this year to meet y'all goals.
No, that's sad.
That is sad. Like, who says that? Like,
what did I won't be pushing y'all or what?
Right. Like what?
Because the reason why I won't be pushing y'all because I feel like I'm pushing my goals onto y'all. And like you say, reading is pleasurable for us. And then some points in 2024, it got to a point where it felt more like a job instead of pleasure.
We not getting paid for.
Right, that we're not getting paid for. So, so this year, like I said, I set a goal of 170, but I set my own. I have some other challenges. Like I've seen the challenge 25 and 25, but the challenge is to do 25 books that I already own, not get new books. Just like Ray and I did the 12-month challenge of a new author for each month.
How did that go?
It was a little stressful sometimes for Ray, even though she read a new author all the time.
But it was still a challenge. But that's the purpose of it, though, to be a challenge. Like but for you to rise above the challenge, So I commend y'all for trying to read, and did y'all succeed at reading a new author for 12 months? Like one new author a month?
Yep. I
And
think we
how
might
was
get more
that
than one.
experience? So how was that experience? So
I enjoyed it. I got me some new authors.
I I enjoyed it too, to be honest. I found myself reading. I like book series.
uh-huh.
So I found myself reading and I wish I could name let me see, one of the authors that I read. Let's see.
While she's looking it up, Sean was a new author for me, and now I'm gonna go back and try to read some of her other books because, like I said, I really enjoyed that book. So that was a new
It
author.
caused you to step outside of your norm, which
Yeah.
is always a good thing too, right?
Yeah.
So I would just say this because I think out of the three of us, I'm probably the least enthused about reading, other than the Bible itself. Uh, in that sense, I would say, if you're listening to this and you're not really a reader, I say step out there, but find out what genre you like, though. I mean, that's a plus.
Yeah.
And just start and just see what you think. I mean, of course, I personally enjoy listening to books a lot more, right? I like the audio and the characters. I want to hear voices, that type of thing. I want to hear different personalities. So, a lot of times. Now, of course, there are times, very few times, but there are times where I sit down with an actual book and read it, right, and let the words come alive. But for the most part, I'm an audio listener, reader, if you will. So, but
I
I'm me and you two though. Y'all stepped out there with new books. Like as much as you like your same authors, you are challenging yourself to find somebody new. So go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
I one of the new authors was Kaylee Gross,
Okay.
and I found myself enjoying it. I only read two of her books, but like I said, I like series. And once I read the first one, I tend to go to the second one or the third one. And so I did go to the second book. There was one book, and I can't remember, that I was like, absolutely not. I gave it a two, and I said, I will not go back to that author because it was horrible. But I forgot who it was, and you don't need to know anyway because I ain't promoting that.
She said what she said.
I said,
Right. Literally, I said what I said. Yeah. So,
But one of my new authors, was the one, um, Kay Shanae, where we went to Santa Claus Land based off of her book. The three of us went. So she was one of my new authors, and I added some more of her books to my TBR also.
and that was fun.
okay. That actually was fun to actually go to a place that was written in a book. I mean, I thought because it makes you wonder if it was real, which we knew beforehand that obviously it was a real place. But it's astonishing when an author does good research and really brings a place that does exist alive in a book. I
Mm.
think for one, it exposes the reader to new places, new things, and it causes you to be a little more curious, right? And if you want to go and see, not every author, some authors are very creative in creating towns and cities and different things, but it's even cooler when an author does kind of becomes a historian, if you ask me, to bring to life a city or a state that does exist, of course, or a town that does exist, and it brings some exposure to it, and it caused us to be curious. Even having not read, I had not read the book, but even not having read the book, to find out that this is what the author had put in her book was amazing, and it was pretty cool to have that experience. I will say that.
And let me correct that, it's Charity Shanae, not Kay Shanae. That's a different author.
Okay, yeah, fix it up. No.
I mixed them up. But yeah, but yeah.
Awesome.
And I like that because I read a book by oh, he's gone now. What's his name, y'all? I can't think of his name.
Eric Dickey?
Yes, Eric Jerome Dickey. He wrote a book in Greensboro. So
Mm-hmm.
when I read that book, and then when I would drive past, because he was like Barbara Park, he was very, and specific spot. So when I would go to the Greensboro, I'd be like, ooh, that's where they was at on that tree, or ooh, that's where they was in Barber Park, and that I like that too when you're reading a book and there's places you know and you've been and you know it's real. So
Kinsey Melhorn, uh, and Shavana has read her. Uh, Sue Grafton. It was the Alphabet murders. She was it Sue Grafton. Sue Grafton lived in Louisville, right? And
okay.
that's a place that I'm actually from. So she lived in Louisville, and every now and then Kinsey would travel to Louisville, right? I don't remember none of the landmarks that
Wrote
she
about
read up wrote about, but it was kind of fun to be like, oh wow, I'm from Louisville, and this
that.
and that's it was in the book that made me go back to research the author more, and it made me want to read all her books. She's not with us no more. She passed away. Oh God, maybe
Oh, I thought you was getting emotional.
10 years, maybe. It's
Oh
been a
wow.
while since she passed away, but her books is good and they're still out there. And I think she did. Did she end the series with Z
I
before she?
don't think she finished Z, but I think maybe her somebody released it, but I don't think I've read Z.
I don't think so either. When she passed away, it's kind of like I can't believe it. That's another person that I lost, and I'm very emotional when it comes to people that pass away. So if anything ever happened to James Patterson, Lord have mercy on my soul.
Y'all pray for her, because yeah, I mean, pray for us all. I
Because
like James.
that's part of life. So I
Yeah,
mean,
Pray
I
for
think
her. But, she
when Dave Thomas died, you would have thought it was one of my grandfathers or something. I was like,
mm,
how is his
yeah,
daughter Wendy?
she passed in 2017, right?
Okay, it ain't been quite 10 years. So, so with that being said, we're gonna conclude this episode of I Said What I Said. If there's something that you want us to read or um, think that we would be great at watching, because in 2025 we are going to embark on series, TV series, and even movies that we watched and give our opinions on those. So if there's something that you would like to for us to read or watch, reach out to our email address and Facebook. You will get at least one of us and we will respond. So again, that's I said what I said, and we're going to get that all taken care of and reach out to us as soon as you possibly can, and we will read your books. If there's any authors that want to come in on our podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Good night, everyone.
hey, good night.
The buttons don't want to work. The button ain't want to work.
Why ain't I on picture?
Uh-oh. Hold on.
It's still